Hi and welcome to episode 3. Hope you enjoyed our last discussion, and today's topic is about the brain and gut connection. And is your obsession with calories making you unhealthy? And it ties in with last week's conversation when we were talking about, well, ultimately it was discipline, wasn't it? And decisions that we make. And your gut and what you eat directly affects your brain. So we just want to delve into that. So we're going to be covering some scientific stuff and some figures about the connection. And then we're going to talk about our diets.
Yeah.
How we used to eat, how we eat now. And yeah, a lot of, I love nutrition. I'm really passionate about it. And I know Jen is too. And what you're doing now in your life is directly
it's all about what's going in.
This, yeah,
absolutely.
Excuse me. So what connects the gut and the brain is what we call the vagus nerve, and it's a direct messaging system that goes from the gut to the brain. So it really is important that we recognize what we consume is affecting decision making, how we're feeling, how we're thinking. And I don't think people realise.
No.
Do you?
No.
Because I certainly didn't when I was younger.
No, and not when, unfortunately today, there's still so much focus on calorie intake and weight loss, and calorie intake. This, to me, it's not known enough yet about how important and how powerful the gut is, but that will only doesn't care how many calories you put in, if we're not talking about weight loss, that is. So I don't want people jumping on that. I mean it in the fact of, it's not a calorie, its function isn't around calorie intake, its function is around the produce that you're putting in. So if you put in 2,000 calories that are made up of nothing,
the 10 dairy milks,
yeah, you're going to get nothing out of your system.
Yeah. You're not actually feeding your gut.
You're not feeding, you're not fueling. What you're doing is you're eating to lose weight, but because you've been given a calorie limit, or let's say most people think it's a target.
Yes. What can we get in?
What can I get in?
And I only had this the other week with a client. And she was saying, I have fat-free stuff because I can get more calories. I can get more food in my calories. I was like, it's not the point. You're not feeding your gut what it needs, because 80 to 90%, about 85% of serotonin is produced in your gut and 50% dopamine. And I don't think people realise that.
No, because again, we don't look at things at that granular level. People don't have time to get into that detail. Yet people moan about their lack of energy. They moan about their sleep quality. They moan about their emotional state. They moan about, they're fatigued and their joints are aching, and I'm just not losing weight. And there is a deeper reason to that, which is, yes, you might be on a calorie deficit. It might fit your macros. But is it actually good for you?
Yeah.
And if you're not putting that, and it's all fibre, your gut wants fibre, essentially. So it's not even around, this isn't anything to do with protein. It's nothing to do with, it's nothing to do with fats and all that. This is purely about how you get that microbiome in your gut happy and healthy.
And if you, can I just add in there?
Yeah.
start making these changes today, and within 3 days,
Yes.
you can start seeing a change. You'll start
3
feeling,
days.
thinking the change.
3 days, isn't it?
Just
it takes
3 days. It's
Yeah.
mental.
Just eating better,
Mm-hmm.
and that is not eating better as in less calories.
No.
We mean the food that's actually going onto your plate. The quantity of food, of course, is important. You will feel more satiated with certain types of food at less volume if they're the right types of food, won't you? So that's to be said. And yeah, the fat-free thing is important for us to talk about. The processed food thing we're going to cover, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. I'm really passionate about that.
Because I do think people still don't have that level of understanding of what a processed food even actually is.
Yeah,
But
we'll go
all
into
of
that.
this affects everything that happens in your gut is going to affect all of these other functions and feelings, and including the big one, what we'll go into around illness.
Massive.
Um,
Can we start with, we'll have a bit of a giggle. Like, what was, before you became more mindful about food, what did your diet look like?
Okay, so 10 years ago, and it is 10 years, I would say. 10 years ago, I never, ever would have looked on the back of a packet and looked at the ingredients list.
No.
Not through not wanting to, I just didn't think that mattered.
Yeah.
All I would have looked at was calorie content.
Yeah. We grew up very much in that fat-free,
Weight
Watchers, slim
less
line,
than 100
Britney Spears in a crop top.
Under 100 calories. Fat-free.
80s, 90s.
Sugar-free, all this kind of, which we absolutely do want sugar-free, but just going to that whole. So, yes, it was all about that whole skinny image and eating less. So I never would have, I wouldn't have looked at what ingredients were because I didn't think that mattered. I would have always headed to a convenience, like a ready-made meal, because to me, I could see how many calories were in there. So, like, let's say you went into the supermarket and they had, I don't know, garlic chicken or something, and it was 300 calories. It was easy for me to target that number and be like, okay, that fits in. I never knew anything about sugar. It was always fat. So my mum was it was all around fat, fat. So the amount of sugar in something never even would have come into play. And again, everything would have just been around cost, convenience, calories.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought twice about what I was drinking either, where liquid calories are happening. I didn't.
That's a biggie.
Which is a biggie. I had no idea about digestion. I just thought it went in, came out. So when even like the liquid calorie thing, when people go on about smoothies and they go on about juices, it's like, yeah, you're not getting any fibre and your gut isn't going, it will not react the same. Your digestive system will not work as hard to work through those calories if you drank them. I thought protein shakes were brilliant, protein bars, anything that said protein, not realising that it probably had about 3 grams of protein and no idea the fact that how much carbohydrate was also in there, plus all the chemicals to get it to be birthday cake flavour or peanut butter flavour. It's like, it's not birthday cake and it's not peanut. You'd be better off eating the birthday cake. So very, very asleep. I was just eating.
Yeah.
And everything had to taste good. Yeah, mindless. Yeah. Everything had to taste good. Everything was about instant gratification. Well, if I'm on a diet and I'm trying to lose weight, you know, that well, you can still eat the good. You can still have treats. You can still have, you know, a whole like Slimming World thing. It's like your sins or whatever.
Yeah.
Again, not really realizing that long-term damage.
Yeah.
Or the, you know, the instant effect and the long-term effect.
Yeah. I think it's shocking that groups like that still exist without the lack of education that sits behind it.
Yeah, definitely. What was yours like?
Honestly, I lived on Special K.
Yeah.
I freaking love Special K.
Really?
I loved it.
No.
I used to have Special K for my breakfast and my dinner.
Oh, that do you remember that? The 2-week
but I had it because
diet.
I genuinely loved it.
You genuinely loved it.
So there was like, I loved a Cheerio, Crunchy Nut Cornflakes.
I love a Frosty and a Cocoa Pop.
I'm just going to touch on something here. Anybody who knows me will know my Crunchy Nut little obsession. I had to cut it out completely. I have it twice a year, and that's on Christmas Day morning.
Is this your Crunchy Nuts?
My Crunchy Nuts.
Yeah.
Christmas Day morning and Boxing Day. So I'll have one of the small boxes, but I will have the box over the 2 days.
So you wait a year.
I wait a year.
That's discipline,
and that's
right? Yeah. And
my
cheesy beans.
Cheesy beans on toast. So that was cereal, beans on toast.
Yeah.
Have to have cheese and the beans.
Yeah, I love cheesy beans.
And then when I was younger as well, just like to add, I was overweight, didn't exercise.
Both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I used to have rations of bacon on my cheesy beans on toast as well.
Laid it up. Laid the flavours.
But
just saying that though, you said there about didn't exercise. I've always exercised.
I dabbled.
I've loved exercise since, and we spoke about this. So if you remember when we did our intros, we'd said that we'd had some recording hiccups, and I spoke about this in, I think it was in my intro, which will never go out there because we went over it. But the exercise bit, I was very overweight, and it was around about when I was 14, 15, and I told this story in the episode about like WWF at the time, the World Wrestling Federation, and the women in there. And there was one woman, China, who I got really quite obsessed with. She was a real girl crush of mine, massive inspiration because she was so different. And, you know, she was massively, she was 5'10". She got dark hair, same height as me. And she was big and she was strong and she was powerful. And that got me into exercise. And that was it then. From like 14, 15, I was lifting weights in my dad's garage, a few basic dumbbells, and then I got a few machines and things, and I loved it. And then it went, and I always loved the exercise. But then, again, going back to that culture when we were younger, when you and I were younger, and both being 41 now, just for context. So when, you know, I was 15, 16, it was that, well, when you've exercised, you've earned it, as in you've earned your calories. Yes. But then again, those calories would be, oh, I've just worked out, you know, I'm going to stick my face in the Neapolitan. You know what I mean? You're completely, isn't it though? Yeah. Basically, spoon across all three. And how bad is that? That ice cream turns to water, mate, when you leave it out on the side. Honestly, it's not even ice cream. It's bad. It's not even ice cream. So you can imagine, that poor. Mm-hmm. And we didn't know any better.
No, we didn't. And that's where we show empathy. And anybody listening to this who doesn't know, we do.
Yeah, there's still people out there eating Neapolitan. Stop eating Neapolitan.
Stop it.
And I'm talking about, you know, that cheap, you know what I'm talking about. You know, but you stick in your wafer, you cheap way, you sandwich it between your wafers.
Sounds giving me the giggles.
Do you know what I mean? That's what my nan used to do. Yeah. Or put me a big dollop of vanilla ice cream and a glass of Coke, like a Coke float, what they call it. Wow.
I was at school, I played like netball.
Yeah.
But then I was always, because I was heavier and bigger, I used to do like shot put and javelin. And do you know what I mean? Or like
proper pigeonhole,
fast twitch, like relay, like fast things. I had no endurance in me whatsoever.
That's
So
funny.
that was me in school. And then as I grew up, my first boyfriend was a PT, and he always nailed the gym, and I showed some interest, but it felt like it was just a motion thing, and I wasn't really interested in it. I think
Right.
it's because I didn't know what I was doing ultimately.
Really?
Because I like to know what I'm doing,
Yes.
and it needs to connect with me
Yeah.
for me to see it through.
Whereas so exactly the same reasons. So
Yeah.
being big. So this is two sides of the same coin. I knew that I really loved movement.
Yeah.
However, at school, when it came to PE, swimming, group sports, anything, I would have this internal want to be involved and want to do it, but I wouldn't do it because I didn't want anybody looking at me, because I felt like I stuck out like a sore thumb. And if I fell over, failed, didn't do very well, that exposing yourself to that judgment and laughter from your peers, which was definitely it's a thing.
Mm.
So I would avoid it like the plague. And then even then, as I got older, because I was so comfortable working out in the gym in the garage, when I could then join a gym, I then went back into my cave. And even though I did know how to use the machines, even though I did know what I was doing, I wouldn't put myself in front of other people that could see me, because I didn't want to be criticised, because I felt like everybody in that room would see me because I was so tall and big.
Very much fear of judgment.
Very, very much fear of judgment, criticism. So I would avoid it, even though I actually knew what I was doing, and I knew more than those people. At 16, I knew more about exercise than as much as a personal trainer would know, qualified.
Yeah.
But yeah, just through that fear. But another thing, like it was always like, oh, well, you big boned, the weight thing. You
I
just
got
big
called that
boned,
so much.
and you
You're
really
big boned.
no, you're not. We're carrying negative weight, and again,
Call
it's
a spade a spade.
yeah. It was but I think that's people trying to mask their truths, and make you feel better to make them feel better, because then you're all in the fat boat together, with all your excuses. But the truth is, all of this information now around the gut and the importance of the gut health is coming out, and we didn't have it years ago, or somebody had it, wasn't telling us, wasn't sharing it. And this is where I think, yes, so many people, not just women, it's men and women, and unfortunately children. Now, struggle. And our generation, we're trying to unpick struggle, because we were exposed to quite a lot of it.
Yeah.
And this is where we've got to draw away from just the calorie counting. Now, we aren't talking about, if you are overweight, and this isn't a weight loss conversation, is it? Essentially, it is about the nutrition, but it's coming into it. If you are overweight, you've absolutely got to be eating less than your body is consuming. You've got to shift the negative weight. But what we would rather people start thinking about is the ingredients that are on that plate.
Yes.
Top and bottom, isn't it? Not necessarily how many calories, but just go to the ingredients first. And by that we mean the whole foods, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to shed some light on the food industry.
Yeah.
And when we were saying like the 80s and what we ate, and what we were exposed to was a hell of a lot of advertisement and stuff around convenience, as you say, and the fast food and processed and ultra processed food is designed to keep you going back. It's designed to not satiate you.
Yes, but it's chemically packed with it's packed with chemicals that get your body addicted.
It's a money-making industry.
Yes, it is completely.
And it's just designed for this.
Greggs, and I imagine not just Greggs, but Greggs put something that I don't know what the thing is, so don't quite. But they put an ingredient, a chemical, a component in their food that makes it smell a certain way to connect with receptors in your brain to spike your brain's curiosity to go into Greggs and buy their food.
When I worked in retail, Jen, I was obsessed. Every day I'd have a sausage and bean pasty.
Can you imagine?
They were phenomenal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't touch one with a barge pole. Can't remember the last time I had one. But I was addicted.
Yeah. Because, and this is the other thing, isn't it? Talking about the addiction.
Yes.
And the what we just said about your dopamine, your serotonin, and all the other hormones that processes that we go through and what we produce. You have to understand, and this is where we like the facts, because when you've got this level of information, you can start breaking it down and being really aware of your choices. And this information will make it easier for you to seek. Once you know this, you can seek it somewhere else, right? Because it's all about a feeling, and a feeling is all about a chemical reaction that's going on in your body. So when you eat your cheese and bean pasty and you enjoy it and you get that dopamine hit and it feels good and it tastes good and you just want to be in that moment over and over again, it is just a reaction in your brain. That is all that is. It's just a reaction in your brain. You can get that reaction from so many other places and so many other foods, because essentially this is about food. This is about where people love eating. I love eating.
We
are massive.
We are massive foodies.
Massive.
We love food.
We do love food.
I talk about it all the time.
And food is there to be loved.
Yeah, it is.
This is an exchange of love. It is a love language. I mean, it's not, but it is.
It is. It's mine anyway.
Yeah.
FYI.
Yeah. But so for example, we made at the cookery school that I've got going on at the moment. We made Hunter's chicken on Thursday, right? Chicken breast, bit of veg on the side, all in the air fryer. That's what it's all about. What we're doing. Chicken breast. Yes, there was bacon, and yes, there was cheese involved. Okay, in a portioned amount. But the barbecue sauce was a homemade barbecue sauce with single ingredients. When we were stood making it, and the guys that were cooking, because they were making it themselves, there's a feel-good process in there. There's no chocolate involved, there's no sugar involved, there's none of that, there's nothing like this involved, there's no honey nut, there's no, the process of making that barbecue sauce and picking that, we're not weighing out ingredients here. I don't cook like that. I'm a home cook. I teach them to cook the way that I cook, and it's a tip tap of this and a dollop of that, and then you can add a bit more. You're creating something, and that feels really good. So getting into those processes, cooking at home, cooking for yourself, creating, cooking for your family.
That whole Sunday lunch.
Yeah.
There's getting together, it's gone, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. But that is a dopamine hit before the food has even touched your taste bud. You've eaten nothing, but you've created something. And then when you taste it and it does taste good, that is your next hit. But nothing destructive's gone on there.
Yeah.
It's all good work. So that's just one place that you can seek a dopamine hit from. And then if the food that you're putting on your plate is real good food, good proteins, clean proteins, not being scared of carbohydrate. You do need a level of carbohydrate. Not a lot, but from the right places.
Yeah.
You do need some, because you need fibre. Fibre is a carbohydrate. It's not the same as sugar, but fibre is a carbohydrate, and your gut wants fibre. Your gut wants fibre. It wants plants in there. That's why it wants seeds, legumes, fruits, vegetables, herbs, spices, plant. And I'm not an advocate of plant. There's nothing to do with plant-based diets. This isn't.
Yes.
We're still talking about proteins and fats and dairy, etc. But just talking about that gut health. To make it happy, it wants plants.
Mm-hmm.
And I read a gut guy. I can't remember what his name is. I'll have to see if we can find it, and I'll post it when it goes out. The chap's name, Dr. Will. You will have seen. I think I've shared a podcast with you a couple of years back.
Mm-hmm.
One of his. And he's talking about plants and the exposure of the gut, the microbiome to plants, to fibre. And, we have like the 5 to 7 fruits or veggies a day. He said that what the gut actually needs to be optimal is exposure to 30 different varieties of plants a week. Now, that doesn't mean, because you might go, I can't even name 30 vegetables. That's why we're saying what that means is it is herbs, it is spices, it is chickpeas, beans, it is vegetables and fruits. But you can include garlic, you can include ginger, you can put a bit of coriander or some chives on. They're all varieties. Tomatoes, if you like tomatoes, go out there and get some yellow tomatoes and some orange. That's variety.
Yeah.
And what the variety is, all of those different fruits and vegetables at a cellular level, their components are different, aren't they? They're made up in a different way. That's what your body needs exposure to. So if you're sat there eating apples, carrots, grapes, broccoli every day, eventually your digestive system, the enzymes become so tolerant of those same fruits and veggies that they don't break them down the same, which again is why you need that variety, isn't it?
I murder for eating the same.
Yeah.
And I'll have to consciously mix things up.
Yes, yeah. But we're from that culture though, aren't we? That food prep culture.
Yeah.
That.
And I'm, like the other night, I had a steak cooked in full fat butter.
Yeah.
I had some scrambled egg and I had some dates with it. And that was like, my dates were like my veg.
Yeah.
But I'm more likely to go for something like that than vegetables. Like broccoli and green beans. I've just got a thing about like them being sprayed. And it's like,
right, so you're from it. Okay. Yeah.
So I think like that. I'm like, I want to get my fibre in. And vegetables. I love vegetables.
How if you don't trust the source? Yeah.
And I find myself in that little.
That's the next level to it, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And it's that whole where are you getting it from?
Me.
That's a bit of a border.
Yeah.
That's pardon me. That is understandable. And I think, if you're going to go down an organic route, for example, there's an expense to that, isn't there? And I think that's another thing that stops people from journeying so far into better eating, because there's an expense.
Because they say it's more expensive.
It is more expensive. However,
which is again, part of the system and how it's designed.
If you're going to go out there and spend £6.50 on a large sugar-laden iced drink, with that same £6.50, you could go out there and buy a few vegetables that are organic.
Yeah.
You could.
Yeah, you could.
That is all about choices.
Yeah.
We all make these excuses that something is too expensive, but then if you look at where your money went all month, there's room.
Yeah.
There's room for budgeting and putting money elsewhere. But this isn't. I would rather somebody just eat a vegetable. Just eat a vegetable before you even think about you know, what you're saying
I
there.
think just because I've been through
yes,
like a journey.
yeah,
That's just where
that's
I
where
find
you're
myself.
at. You're now at that point
Yeah.
of, right, what toxins am I consuming?
Yes.
And that's probably a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
It's definitely a whole other conversation. But I think for me, for a listener,
Yeah.
you've got options. You can go next level with your fruit, your veg, your
Yes.
meat sources. Absolutely.
But as a base level.
But if you're living, if you're currently living on cornflakes, don't worry about a bit of spray.
Yeah.
Because you're already eating shit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Let's eat better shit.
Let's just eat better shit. Choices. And that brings us on to.
We want to go on to choices.
That does bring us quite neatly onto that, aren't we? Good.
We are.
We're
getting better at this.
We are. We are. I think we've flown a little bit now, aren't we? We are though. We are. I mean, we are. You know.
We are though, aren't
if
we?
you know, and you know that I know that you know that
I know.
We even prepped quicker, didn't we?
We did. Yeah. No messing.
But I think we knew this was coming for a long time, the nutrition talk. So I think it's a bit of the tongue, isn't it, all the time?
So choices.
Choices. You and I know we aren't sitting here knowing that our diets are 99.99999% clean.
Hell no.
They're not.
No.
And this is why we wanted to speak about how we used to eat, so that you can see the difference, really, isn't it? And I will still have a Big Mac, a chocolate milkshake. I'll still have my cheesy beans on toast is a better cheesy bean. We were saying that, weren't we? Sam likes to stay true to the 2 cheesy beans on toast a couple of times a year. My kids will eat beans on toast a bit more than that, so I try to make it the absolute best beans on toast it possibly. And I'm really, really fortunate. Like my children are very aware of healthier choices.
Yeah, they are very.
Nancy would never even contemplate white bread. If I gave her sliced white, it's now in her head that is so bad for her, she just will not eat it. She'll eat sourdough, seeded, but will not. That's her boundary. She won't eat cereal. Our cupboards would have to be bare for her to eat cereal. She won't eat it. And she knows we've always got eggs in, so she'll just do scrambled eggs for breakfast. Or Mum, make me some eggs or whatever. But yeah, going back to the choices, you know, if I'm having a day out with the kids, or, you know, if I know I've got something's going on of an evening and I know I'm going to be having a drink and whatever, that still happens. But I am so much more aware that that's happening. Where I can, I'll choose differently. But I'm quite happy knowing that there are times when I'm going to make a shit choice, a really poor food choice. But whereas a decade ago, I didn't know I was making those choices, now I do. And I'm okay with that to a degree, because I will have that conversation with myself, with my body around, right, we know we're going out for a meal tonight, or we know we're going to, you know, the ice cream shop, or what, or I know I'm going on holiday, or I know. So the borders drop. But what I will think is, okay, I'm going to stay really hydrated. I'm going to make sure I sleep really well. I'm going to have moved a bit more, or the day after I'm going to plan a training session that's going to utilise that food quite quickly, because I don't want that shit staying in and storing.
Yeah.
I know that my meals around that are going to be quite limited, and they're probably going to be more protein and fat based. I'm not going to add extra sugars in where I don't need it. So I'm just, I put a lot more into that choice, because it is a choice. Because I'm so acutely aware what that food's going to do to my body.
Yeah.
And then
and your mind.
And therefore my mind. Well, But my whole few days that are ahead.
Do you when you do have these poor choices and you have been out with the kids and had whatever,
Yeah.
can you recognise your mind?
If it's over, right, yes. Depending on what it is and the volume, I'll get an instant feeling of, I feel that high and that crash
Yes.
quite instantly. If that goes on for a couple of days, let's say we were on holiday or away for weekends, so there was consecutive poor decisions around food, then yes, eventually I become sluggish, I become fatigued, I become really lazy.
You spiral, don't you?
Yeah.
Because it's like a hangover. It'll make you choose a poor decision the next day because you're tired, you haven't slept properly.
Yeah, what makes
you're tired,
you
you want to take away.
Well,
then that spirals onto a Monday, can't be arsed. And
let's talk about that as well while we're on it and we're talking about chemicals, hormones, etc. If you do not, and this is something that I become really aware of, if I have a poor night's sleep, I call it gremlins, but grelin.
Yes.
Gremlin. I call it gremlin. That's how it sounds to me. And it is a gremlin. You'll know what I mean when I tell you what it is. So when you don't sleep well, your ghrelin increases. That is a hunger hormone.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't sleep well, your cortisol increases. So then you've got cortisol, which is that's a stress hormone, which is essential. We need cortisol. There's nothing wrong with it in levels. But your cortisol goes up, your gremlins go up, you eat shit.
And what? Yeah.
You
and then
eat
you're
badly.
eating, the ultra processed food,
Then
which then
keeps you in that loop.
Keeps you in the loop.
And what I also find, and because I'm living outside, I'm always looking inside. You know, I'm always very aware of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and very thoughtful and mindful day in, day out about the operation of me.
Inside out.
Inside out. Over a few days, if that were to happen consecutively over a few days, I can actually see myself going back into default of a decade ago.
Yeah.
And I can see that I feel that happening. And that's where I have to go, right, yeah, that is it now.
Yeah.
Because you are, like you say, you're spiraling, and then it's so easy. And this is why we go on about these. This is daily awareness all the time of what's happening, what you're doing, what you're putting in, what you're getting out, because it so easily slips. No matter who you are, it can slip. So yes, I do feel that in my body. But I think when I look at people in general who I know have got, real bad habits, maybe around alcohol, around sugar intake, I think they just live on that mode because they just think that's it. I'm just tired every day, and I don't sleep well, and my skin's shit, and my nails don't grow, and I don't go to the toilet very often, or I go to the toilet too often, and they don't ever question what that is. If I have a runny poo, I'm wondering what.
Yeah.
That's not like that's 9 people out of 10 aren't even going to consider that. It's normal, as you just said.
Yeah.
Which is
the self-awareness. And I've always said in my line of work, people do not know how good they're designed to feel.
Correct.
Because they never take themselves out long enough to feel the good.
Yeah.
So then when they do slip back, like when we do, when we have them off days, we're like, no.
Yeah. No. And I think people are very scared about, I mean, you'll know this. How many people do you come to you? How many clients, PT clients do you get, and they come to you and they know they've got to lose some negative weight. They want to be healthy. They want improved they want to improve themselves aesthetically, they want to feel better, etc., etc. But when you tell them that they've got to start restricting calorie intake, so just going back to the basics, they're that scared that they can't have, can I have a glass of wine?
Yeah.
How many calories are in a beer?
Yeah.
Do I have to stop drinking?
Yeah.
People are that afraid that you're going to take away these things from them because that's what makes them feel good and that's what they're addicted to. They don't like it, do they?
No, they don't like it. And they do. But as you say, going back to a person who eats a lot of crap,
Yeah.
still having that glass of wine, but if I can change everything
Yeah.
else with them,
Yeah.
but still keep that in.
Yeah.
And then I've done that with clients. I've done it with a client, Jen, and she's lost over 2 stone now, and she's done it over like 2 years. But she was drinking a lot of the time, but then over time, she's like, "Oh, I can leave that." And
yes, because her mind's
she
built that
knows,
different path.
Exactly.
Because it all comes back to that,
Yeah.
doesn't it? And eventually, when you start tipping the scale, you know, which is time, over time, you start tipping the scale, don't you? And then they go, oh yeah, actually, I can. This feeling of strength and empowerment and better decision making and clarity and focus and great sleep and, you know, everything feels slicker and smoother and that feels better then, and you've tipped the scale. But it's just getting people to want to do that, isn't it?
Yeah, and go for long enough.
Yeah.
To get themselves there.
Yeah. And I think people get really, really afraid and their walls go up, that, you know, their defenses go up when they feel like they are no longer in control. When you expose to them that you've made these poor decisions, and it feels like it's so much easier, isn't it, to get into a bad habit than a good habit. And it's so much harder to get out and to break a bad habit.
I'd love an episode on habits, because we love habits, don't we? And habit stacking and what we do and stuff.
Yes.
But we can talk about that.
Yeah. Because it is, again, it's all about systems. It is. And it's about processes.
Because I had to address my boredom. Like, why am I going to the cupboard? It's because I'm bored.
Yeah, because you're bored.
So what can I do instead?
Now you use that boredom as creative energy that sparks off thought, that then builds all the things that you now do, and you don't have time to sit and look in the cupboards. It's the last thing that you would think about because you've replaced it with a different kind of dopamine hit.
Yeah. So we want to go on to, it's a big topic and it's harsh, isn't it? Like, it can come across harsh, but it's fact.
It is fact. It is. Well, you and I can sit here and take it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
People are making themselves ill.
Yeah.
And people they don't even know.
And they don't know. If you are, and this is how we said it, wasn't it, when we were talking about it? If you're ill, it is directly your fault. And I'm talking cancers, coughs and colds, a sore knee,
chronic illnesses,
and anything on the spectrum of disease and illness. What I will ring fence is that autoimmune, like, we're talking about illness. I'm talking about normal, a body that is functioning normally, and then you wake up on a Monday morning and you've got a cough, or there's something bigger that's going on then behind that. Like, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about things that, you know, you've been diagnosed with, like a type 1, for example, like Zach. He's not in direct, that is not as a result of something he ate. That is an autoimmune, that's different. I'm talking about, chronic illnesses, that level of diseases. That's what we're talking about here.
Yeah. And can I just say, while we're on that, if you look at the figures,
yes, I was going to say
from like
this,
1980s, And when processed food and ultra processed food, if you don't know the difference, by the way, that an ultra processed food, it can't be remade in the kitchen.
Yes, you can't
You can't
reproduce
get
it.
ingredients to make that product, like your Doritos and your Pringles. You can't make them. So that's an ultra processed food. And a processed food is things that have been preserved and stuff. And,
Yes, yeah.
Got chemicals in.
And it's something.
And
go on.
Let me just finish that. There's no coincidence that from the 1980s, when this industry really kicked in, and the figures of cancer and heart disease, they run alongside each other.
Yes.
And it is no coincidence.
No. But this is also the time, like you say, from after the war and after rationing, and then all of a sudden, we can make this, and trans fats and preservatives, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger. But at the same time, we're also being told, don't eat red meat. We're being told about cholesterol, fats, eggs, dairy, eat sugar, eat these things that we can keep in a box on a shelf for a year.
Yeah.
Dirt cheap. Yeah. Loaf of bread's going to last you days. It's not supposed to do that.
Nobody questions something that's in your cupboard a year.
No.
What is that doing when it's in there?
Exactly. So you're right. The trajectory of heart disease, of obesity, of cancers, in line with, spot on. And the other mindset or thought set of, and again, this is, something that I've heard from, parents and whatnot, which is, that's no fault of their own, is, well, we're just getting older. Well, we're just getting, so therefore there's this acceptance that your knees are going to hurt and this is going to happen, and you're not going to be able to move the same or feel the same. Absolutely rubbish. That's not true. Just getting older is not a reason. It's not because you're getting older. It's because you're not eating right. Full stop. And the other thing on illness and disease, and people go, it's genetic. No, it isn't. I think the statistic is around about, it's on only 5% of illnesses and diseases are actually genetic. Everything else is what you ate.
It's mad, isn't it?
Everything else is what you ate, right? And so that top level point that Sam raised about this point, if you are ill, it is, we're sorry to say, your fault. It's not, you went in the office yesterday and Mandy was coughing and spluttering all over your laptop and now you woke up with a cold. It's not Mandy's fault. I'm not going to say what. I can't say it now. I can't say it. If you were taking care of your immune system, I want to say it. But I can't say it.
It was so funny.
If you were taking care of your immune system, Mandy could be sick in your mouth and it would not make a difference to you tomorrow morning. Sorry.
Mandy, don't be
Sorry,
sick
Mandy, don't be sick in your mouth. But my point being, we laughed about it before.
Yeah, we did.
It's hard for me to say it then. It was, yeah. Anyway, we digress. If what we mean by that is, if you are taking care of your immune system, which is within the gut, so your gut health, you could be exposed to all kinds of disease, bacteria, and you will not pick that up and it will not develop if you're on top of your immune system. Go on.
And can I just say, yes, I can.
Yeah, you can just say. Yeah, I was thinking that. Yes, Sam, you can say.
Yes, I have this platform. We then go to doctors for advice who aren't educated in gut health and nutrition.
What in 7 years, what do they spend?
I can't remember the figures from America and here.
I think it's like 3 days.
It's not that.
Is it not even
that? No, it's hours.
Oh, it's ours.
It's ours.
Out of 7 years of
Yeah,
medical
it's something
training
like 4. I think that's America 4, and we're like 8
on
of
nutrition.
nutrition
Yeah.
training throughout their entire
Yeah.
education.
Education.
Since I learnt that
It's mind
the
blowing.
years ago,
Because
it blows my mind.
because and just just to give you an idea of how this why we're talking about the illness and it being your fault and directly linked to what you're eating. Every illness, disease, bar that 5%, what we're saying, okay, just come down to genetics. Every illness, every disease that you go through, your body can go through, is all caused by inflammation. Inflammation happens in the physical body because of stress. There are external stresses, but the main stress that we put our physical body under is our sugar intake, our carbohydrate intake, simple sugar intake. When you consume too much sugar, it creates inflammation in the body, which creates disease top and bottom. Where there is inflammation, and there are other layers to this then, and we're not going to go into it now, but there are layers to this. There are layers around what is active, what diseases are active in your DNA, which all goes back to conditioning and exposure as a child. That's different. But purely for the point of this conversation and trying to encourage a bit of change, all you need to know is that if you're ill, if you're ill, there is inflammation. If there is inflammation, there is too much stress. If there's too much stress, there's too much sugar. If there's too much sugar, eat a steak and scrambled eggs. Basically. Yeah. With your fibre chucked in.
Yeah.
And I think that really is the point, isn't it? We're just wanting to get that point across.
Yeah.
Think about your gut when you eat.
Yeah.
Think about eating whole food that you have to chew.
Quality of what you're putting in your mouth.
The quality of what you're putting in your mouth, because that's going into your body.
Yeah.
Into your gut, which is going to travel from your gut through your vagus nerve up to your brain, which is going to affect your executive function, your decision making, your sleep, your focus, your clarity, which affects your relationships, how well you are as a parent, how well you are as a peer, how well you are at work.
The ripple effect.
Everything comes from what you eat.
A little exercise that I do with my clients, and you can do this now, is I visualize my supermarket. If you go to a supermarket, I mean, ideally we want to be going butchers but visualize from a bird's eye view your supermarket and just think about what's in a packet.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or what's in the freezer. Think of the fresh bit.
Yeah.
And what percentage that is of the supermarket.
Of the supermarket, yeah. Yeah.
That in itself, as a visual, it does a lot. It
tells you. Yeah, exactly. That's where you've got to get creative.
Yeah.
And just before we close, I'm not going to. I did want to touch upon this. I'm not going to go into this as a topic, as a way of life, but there's a reason I want to talk about fasting. And I'm not going to go into fasting and why you should do it, or not why you should. I'll retract that. Why I would encourage or suggest that people think about their eating window. We'll talk about that separately. The reason I wanted to highlight the benefits of having longer periods of not eating and limiting your meals to a maximum of 3 a day within an 8-hour eating window, to essentially not 1 meal a day. We'll talk about fasting and why not 1 meal a day as an ongoing thing, once or twice a year, absolutely. I'm not going to go into that. We'll do go into that. However, let me come back to the point. I do want to go into it, but I'm not going to. We will. Digestion is a massive process for your body. It takes a lot of energy. Every time you put food into your body will switch up where the functions it's going through. and it will work to digest that food. It cannot do much else while it's digesting. When you're not digesting food, there's a lot of repair functions that happen within the body. Every time you eat, you then distract the energy from that repair. The cellular repair, the shifting out where the livers, the kidney, the lymphatics, they're doing their jobs. When you're snacking all day, you know that eat little and often bullshit. When you're eating all day, you're detracting your body from those repair functions all day because you're making it work to digest all day. It's not supposed to do that. When you were a cave woman, it did not do that. It ate once or twice a day.
Yeah.
It was supposed to repair in between. It's not how we're built. So I do want people to think about, for their gut health and their overall bodily health, as a closing point, think about how long you go without food and try to extend that a little bit longer each day.
Yeah.
And we will talk about fasting because I do think people really are keen on it.
It's well worth it, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll probably do a snippet on fasting.
Yeah.
The other information about it, but it is a key component to a healthy body, is having longer periods between 12 and ideally 16 to 18 hours daily without food, to allow your body to repair. Now, yes, there are bits that people go, oh, but if you eat too much, if you eat a massive meal, it's going to affect your digestive tract. Yes, that's why we're not on about fasting right now, because there's a lot of detail to it, and why I don't encourage one meal a day as a 7-day-a-week thing, but we'll go into it. But please consider how often you're leaving in between food, and please consider what food you put onto your plate when you do next eat.
You heard her. We have a Word document with gut-brain connection information on, and on there is a list of foods that you can the Super 7 that you can start consuming to help with the process. So if you want that sending to you, just comment gut in the comments and we'll send it to you.
Yeah.
But thank you for listening.
Thank you
Hope
for listening.
you took something from it.
Yeah.
And as always, ask away if anything's sparked your interest.
Yeah. Thank you.